One of the main questions that people ask about Dune is why are there no machines and other advanced technologies within the universe? 10,000 years before the events of Dune, the Machine Crusade occurred. This was the result of AI thinking machines enslaving humanity, except for a few free worlds in the known universe. But once the son of Serena Butler, Mannion Butler, was killed by the AI, evil, twisted scientist Erasmus. This was the spark that set off the Butlerian Jihad, the humans' war against the machines. Many events occurred during the Butlerian Jihad, such as the rise of Vorian Atreides, the son of the former Siamec Titan general Agamemnon, who worked for the thinking machines. Also during the Butlerian Jihad, Xavier Harkonnen would go down as a betrayer. Beknownst to the rest of the Imperium, he was going to kill and sacrifice himself to get rid of the evil and corrupt Butlerian zealot, Iblis Ginjo, which he would fly into a star. Vorian Atreides would try to clear his name, but the Harkonnen name would be stained slightly during that time. Eventually, humanity would push back the AI thinking machines to one final planet stronghold, Corrin, a final machine planet, which Erasmus and the final ominous gel sphere would plan their defense against humans' inevitable fleet assault. Leading this final battle fleet was Vorian Atreides as lead basher. Alongside him was the relative of Xavier Harkonnen, which was Abelard Harkonnen. Upon entering the system, they noticed right away that there was something wrong about the upper atmosphere of the planet. They come to realize that the thinking machines used human shields in the form of slaves in containers floating above the planet of Corrin. This event would be known as the Bridge of Rethgir, in which Erasmus, the twisted AI mad scientist, would place 2 million human slaves as human shields into the atmosphere as to persuade the human fleet not to attack. Vorian Atreides would decide quickly that he needed to assault through the human shields to win at all costs, but this enraged Abelard Harkonnen, setting them into a large argument against the assault. Up until that point, Abelard Harkonnen and Vorian Atreides were close friends, but during this argument on the bridge on the eve of battle, Vorian relieves him of duty, confines him to quarters, while Abelard would defy this order and go on to the main command room of the fleet fire control and disable the weapon systems of the fleet. This would lead to a complete betrayal of Vorian's trust, in which he would essentially throw charges at Abelard, disgracing his name. But once they regained control of the fleet's fire control system, they called the bluff of Erasmus, who in turn disabled their defenses in order to save his human pseudo-son, Gilbrathus Albans, which was a human ward which he took under his wing earlier in the Butlerian Jihad series. So in the end, Erasmus, the thinking machine, betrayed his own kind, the ominous gel sphere overmind, to save his human son, which he somewhat had twisted feelings for. Once Vorian Atreides initiated the assault and blew right through the defenses, calling their bluff, and saving as many human slaves as they could, they went on to destroy and annihilate the rest of the thinking machines, whereas Gilbrathus Albans saved his father's gel sphere and hid it, which you would find out later in the Great School's novels. So Erasmus would go on to live as a small gel sphere himself, while the rest of the thinking machines were destroyed in the Battle of Corrin. One more strange event that occurred during the Battle of Corrin was that the strange clone, the failed clone of Serena Butler, which Erasmus made for Gilbrathus as sort of a play toy companion early on, was left for dead in one of the containers and she was killed during an assault on one of the containers in between humans and the fighting machines of the AI. So the humans achieved victory over the thinking machines finally at the last stand at the Battle of Corrin. Vorian Atreides then turned his attentions to the traitor in his minds, Abelard Harkonnen. He was sent before a tribunal, stripped of his nobility, and instead of executing him, Vorian decided to exile him to the planet of Lankavale, which would become the main homeworld of House Harkonnen from there on out, until eventually moving to Gidi Prime. But after those events, you would think Vorian Atreides, who could ask for anything in the Imperium, for essentially being the hero of humanity, did not ask for any type of leadership position or elevation in the Imperium. He asked for a ship and to be left alone to his own devices, to go off and start a new life, to be left alone. And in fact, he would go to the planet of Kepler and start an entirely new family, leaving behind his estranged family on Caladan, starting a new journey. If you are curious about the information provided in this video, all info comes from the prequel books Butlerian Jihad, Machine Crusade, and the Battle of Corrin novels by Brian Herbert. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe and share the video. And I will see you next time.